You ever have one of those days where you come home thinking about nothing but leftovers and your favorite TV show, only to find your brand new dream car destroyed right in your own driveway? Yeah, that happened. My hands were shaking so bad I nearly dropped my keys, standing there staring at the wreckage. Tesla Cybertruck, glass everywhere, compliance violation spray painted across the hood in angry, dripping red letters, like a warning straight out of a bad mob movie. Paint was gouged down to the metal, mirrors twisted like they'd been ripped off by a bear, and the windshield was $1 million spiderweb. You know what I mean? It didn't look random. Somebody took their sweet time on this. Somebody wanted to make a point. I just stood there, trying to convince myself this wasn't real, that I hadn't spent a lifetime in tech just to end up like this. And then, there he was, by my mailbox, cool as a cucumber, like he was waiting for me. This middle-aged guy in a security uniform, badge glinting under the porch light, cheap sunglasses, walkie-talkie, the whole 9 yards. He marches right up and introduces himself with all the bravado of someone who's watched too many cop shows. "Mr. Elliott," he says, "I'm Larry Clark, HOA Security Division." The way he said it, you'd think he was about to read me my rights. Now, I've lived in this suburban neighborhood 2 years. Never heard of an HOA Security Division. So I ask, you want to explain this? He hands me these documents, official-looking, with our HOA's letterhead and dates going back 3 weeks, claiming my Tesla violated community standards, was aggressively styled, and oversized. Man, they had language for everything. But I never saw a single warning. Not one. So I do what any sane person would. I call 911, holding my phone with hands still shaking, describing to the dispatcher how this guy's just destroyed my car like it's some kind of official business. Larry stands there like he owns the block, not even flinching as 2 cops roll up. He flashes his badge, shows his paperwork, starts spouting protocol, and I swear, the police act like they've seen this show before. I'm looking at the officers, then at Larry, and wondering if I've stepped into the Twilight Zone. That's when Harold Mitchell shows up, the HOA president, looking all responsible and presidential, tie slightly crooked from rushing over. Harold listens to Larry's explanation, frowns, then tells the cops this was not sanctioned, that Larry had completely misunderstood his authority. The officers nod, say it's an internal issue, and take 1,000,000 photos of my truck before driving off. Larry doesn't even blink. He just rolls away in his white golf cart, leaving me and Harold staring at each other. Harold apologizes profusely, writes me a check on the spot for repairs, says he'll handle Larry, promises it'll never happen again. At that moment, I almost buy it. This is just a weird screw-up, a rookie mistake. But something about Larry's confidence bugged me. He wasn't scared. He wasn't sorry. He acted like he was doing exactly what he was hired to do. Next morning, Harold is at my door with another apology and a folder of official documents. Larry's contract, suspension notice, everything looking legitimate as hell. He tells me Larry's gone, suspended, promises policy reform, even covers trauma compensation. But then, as I'm collecting my mail, who's patrolling the neighborhood in plain clothes? Larry. He grins, says, "I'm not on payroll, but I'm still watching out for the community." The audacity. Like, buddy, you just trashed my car and got fired, and now you're a volunteer? When I tell Harold, he's frustrated, talks about restraining orders, says Larry won't accept being fired. And then my neighbor Susan drops by. Susan's the unofficial mayor of the block, retired teacher, knows everything. She says, "Chase, you ever notice how Harold always has a solution for every resident problem? He's handled situations like this before. Larry's his go-to guy. It's always the same routine. Escalate, then swoop in with the fix." That gets my wheels turning. I reach out to my friend Claire, a lawyer who specializes in HOA disputes. She digs up public records, and, let me tell you, the results drop my jaw. Turns out Mitchell Clark Community Solutions is registered at Harold's home address. Both Harold and Larry are listed as equal partners. This isn't a random contractor gone rogue. This is a business, a partnership. When I confront Harold, he fumbles, blames it on a favor for Larry, claims he didn't know Larry would go nuts. But the pieces don't fit. He knows too much, moves too fast, always has a perfect answer. Then I catch both of them, early morning, having coffee at the diner, like old friends, not adversaries. Harold later calls, confessing that Larry's his ex-brother-in-law, a guy he's been trying to help since a messy divorce and multiple police academy rejections. He spins a story about family loyalty gone wrong, about doing what he can to protect residents from Larry's instability. But every word feels practiced. Then Susan finds a forgotten recording on her phone, Harold and Larry, in her yard, discussing how to apply pressure until she sells her house. Elderly targets respond fastest to evening patrols, Larry says. Susan's already researching senior facilities. It's a script, a playbook. They're not helping, they're hunting. Systematically. Claire's investigation digs deeper. Bank records, payments, shell companies. Harold's been moving money, acquiring properties, using fake security claims to push out elderly or problem residents at below market value. It's all deliberate. Harold targets, Larry executes. They've run this scam for nearly 2 years. I call a special HOA meeting. People pack the community center, folks who barely speak to each other any other time. Harold strolls in like he's going to charm everyone out of their anger. Then I play Susan's recording, pressure protocols, intimidation sequences, the whole scheme laid out in their own voices. The room goes dead silent. Harold tries to deny, tries to spin, but Larry snaps, yells out that Harold recruited him, coached him, weaponized his insecurity to turn him into an enforcer. What happens next is cinematic. Residents stand up, start sharing their own stories. Margaret, pressured to sell her home after losing her husband. Robert, warned his garage business made him a target. Every single pattern matches. By the time the feds get involved, the FBI, the story has gone way past a neighborhood spat. Turns out, Harold and Larry's operation was just one node in a web reaching across Southern California. Multiple HOAs, hundreds of families pressured out for profit, millions in unreported gains, and Harold running training seminars for other would-be predators. The feds dig up a training manual, 87 pages of pure evil, targeting, pressure escalation, profit splits. Harold isn't just a con man. He's a franchise creator, running seminars for $5,000 a pop. When the trial comes, Harold sits there in orange, unmoved, while Larry breaks down and confesses everything. Recruitment, targeting, psychological tricks, all of it. The jury doesn't take long. Harold gets 12 years, restitution, and a lifetime HOA ban. Larry gets 4 years and a ban from security work. Assets seized, their network busted up. Victims finally see some justice. But the fallout? Families destroyed, reputations shattered, years of manipulation exposed. But the story doesn't end there. Larry, when he gets out, goes straight. Joins construction, volunteers at senior centers, teaches folks how to spot scams. Says, I know every trick because I was the trick. Meanwhile, Harold, well, let's just say prison doesn't look good on a man who once lived for applause. He's the punchline now. His ex-wife changes her name, daughters disown him, and when he's released, he'll have nothing but debt and regret. Me? I buy Harold's foreclosed mansion for pennies on the dollar, turn it into a fraud prevention center. My story goes viral, becomes the foundation for new HOA legislation, background checks, transparency, criminal penalties for abuse. The Elliott Protocol sets a new standard statewide. Our community turns into a model for how to fight back. The site of Harold's downfall? Now it's a place where people heal, learn, and protect each other. You'd think that would be the end, right? But just last week, I get a call from someone claiming to be Harold's regional coordinator, warning that we've upset some powerful people, that not everyone wants these reforms to spread. So what's next? Maybe this story isn't over. Maybe there's a bigger network out there, waiting in the wings. So let me ask you, ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? Someone who wore a badge or title just to get close enough to hurt you? Drop your thoughts below. Is justice ever really enough? Or does true justice mean fighting for a system that can't be corrupted in the first place? Comment where you're watching and tell me, what would you do if your HOA turned out to be the real villain on your block?